Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Paper Crafts here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in central Scotland. Welcome back to another Simple Sundays project, and this project is a little envelope with a decorated border at the top, and it holds a 4-finger Kit Kat as well. It's actually my customer thank you gift for last month, but I thought I would share it as a Simple Sundays project because it's really quick and easy to make. You need a piece of DSP, a piece of card, a piece of ribbon, a bit of ink and a couple of embellishments, and that's it. So I'm going to show you how I made it and what I used to make it as well. So I'll pop this over to the side. So to make your envelope, you're going to need a piece of DSP which measures 7 inches by 5 3/4, and you're going to do a little bit of scoring. So on the long side is where you're going to do your scoring, and apologies for any glare as well. So you're going to score at 3 1/4 and 6 1/2 on the long side, and then if you have a directional paper, that needs to be up and down the way when you've got your long side facing that way. So turn it round so that, again, if you've got a directional paper, it's facing up and down that way, this being the top, and score it at 1/2 inch because that's the flap that's going to hold the bottom of your little bag together. So we'll get the scoreboard out of the way, and before we do anything else, we're actually going to use a decorative die, and this is all from the Ornate Garden suite, just to put a little pattern across the top of here. So the DSP is from the Ornate Garden Specialty Designer Series paper pack, and the dies are from the Ornate Layers dies and the Ornate Borders dies as well. So the two dies that we are going to use today are this one here to add the pattern along the top of our bag, so I'm just going to set that across there, and this die here, which is what I used to make my label, which I think is quite exquisite actually. So first of all, what we're going to do is pop our die across the top of our bag. So you want the plain edge or the top edge of your bag here, which is where you're going to put your die, so make sure that 1/2 inch strip for the bottom of your bag is definitely along here. So you'll find that the 1/2 inch part for joining your bag together is on this side. So I'm actually going to use a little bit of washi tape just to help to hold this die in place. So I'm going to tear it first of all, apparently. I'll get rid of that bit. So I'm just going to cut off a couple of little bits just so that I can add a bit at each end of the die once I've put it in place. So I want to line the very end of the die up against the very edge of my paper here, and that makes sure it's perfectly matched to this score line at the end here. And I'm just going to make sure that it's just short of the top of my paper, because I don't want to lose any of the loops at the top, because all this part at the top is going to be cut off anyway once it's gone through the die machine. So I'm happy enough, I think, with that about there. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of washi tape over that edge and a little bit over that edge, which will then hold it in place in my die cutting machine. So I'm going to grab my I was going to use my fold away Big Shot, but actually I'm going to use my proper Big Shot because I'll angle it there, I think. The little fold away Big Shot is a bit sugly, so I'm using my magnetic base plate, and then I'm just going to pop my paper onto a cutting plate and just make sure that it hasn't moved. It has a little bit, but that's okay. And just press that down gently, and then pop another cutting plate on the top, and then I'm just going to roll that through the big shot, and I'm just going to bring it back only because there's not a lot of room to take the plates out that back side of the big shot. So let's get that out of the way again. There we go. And this should have cut the pattern on my paper. So I'm going to put these out of the way just now. I'll just leave that die there because I need to clean that, get all the little bits of paper off. And you'll see that this is still attached just a tiny little bit here. So I'm just turning my paper round, and you can see the gorgeous gold foiling on the other side of this paper. And I don't know if you can see this, but just here I'm going to snip, and I'm not bothered about that tiny little bit, that little shoulder there. And you'll see here, maybe if I fold it you'll see easier, this is against the 1/2 inch fold, so if you fold and burnish it you might see it a little bit easier. The pattern just reaches there perfectly, but I'm actually going to do an angle cut on this panel anyway for putting my bag together, so I'm just going to carefully angle that and cut it into this corner here where the end of that shape is, and discard the rest. So then I'm just going to fold and burnish on my other score lines, and I'm thinking I've not scored them hard enough because it is quite a thick paper and it's been through the big shot, so it's flattened them out just a little bit. So you've only got 2 score lines there, and then 1 score line for the bottom. Let's manipulate that a little bit. There we go. And the cutting that we're going to do on the bottom is to remove this little rectangle here, which you might or might not be able to see, or maybe it's a square, and cut at an angle for the part that holds your envelope together. And actually I'm going to angle cut this part here as well, and we're going to remove this section, but we want just another angle cut here. And then I'm going to chance it with my big scissors. I'm not the best with big scissors. And I'm just going to remove this panel completely. So when you're done, and you've done all your cutting, I probably could have cut that just a little bit more because I want it cut just beyond that score line. There you are. So this is what we're left with. That's the inside of your bag and that's the outside of the bag. So we're going to put tape on this part of this fold here. And I'm thinking, oh no, it's okay. It looks like I might have folded that a little bit squint. Yes, I have. I'm wondering if I can actually fix that and just bring that in a little bit. If not, it's just going to have to be a little bit squinty, and I'll just trim it once it's all together because it's not going to do it. So I'm going to put some tearing tape on these 2 parts here. I did have another roll of tearing tape somewhere, but I'll just use this roll here if I can find the end. Here we go. So I'm going to put a piece of tape near the edge of this little flap at the bottom. And I'm going to put a piece near the fold on this side of the paper, on the flap at the side, to join my bag together. There we are. So just give that a little press and give that a little press, and I'm going to take the tape off this part here, or the backing rather, and just fold this over and pop it together. Yep, I did fold that a bit squint, but it's okay because that's the back of my bag and it's not really noticeable. I didn't think it had folded straight. And take the backing off that little bit there and fold it up and over at the bottom, and that's my little bag made. And you could use these bags for anything, but they just happen to fit a Kit Kat perfectly. So I'm going to steal the Kit Kat out of there and pop it into the bag here, and there's plenty room, so you don't have to shove it right down to the bottom of the bag, so just far enough to feel a little bit of resistance. It gapes a little bit, but once you've got your ribbon on, it helps to hold it down a little bit. So I'm using the Ornate Garden ribbon combo pack, and I'm actually going to use the Old Olive ribbon that's in here. It's Old Olive and terracotta tile. I really like terracotta tile, it's such a gorgeous colour, and I'm just going to cut off enough to be able to tie a bow on the front of my little bag. I'm going to tie it further down and then slide it up to the top once it's tied, and that makes the bow just a little bit easier to tie without getting caught on the thinner part of the bag at the top here. The problem you have is trying to hold it tight until you've tied your bow. I might have cut that ribbon just a little bit too short, but hopefully we've got enough to be able to pull through. Oops. Every time I've got to do my bow twice. So let's try that again. Hopefully you'll work this time. There we are. That's not too bad actually. Let's just make this loop a little bit bigger. It's not wanting to. I probably could have cut my ribbon just a little bit longer actually, but we'll go with that for now. Just trim it here and trim it here and slide it up just a bit to about there, or just wherever you feel suits. And then I used Old Olive ink and a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock, just because it's going to be sitting on the front of the bag, and I can actually see a few little bits here where some of the cutouts haven't come out, but I think that's it this time. I don't think there's anything else, so we'll just get those out of the way. And I die cut that using, where are you? Oops. This die here, as I said, and all the layers are here. They're just absolutely gorgeous, so I'm going to put that back in while I've got these out. I made a card the other day, you might have seen the video, using that die there. They are just so pretty, and while we've got all these bits out, I'm going to put away the other die, which I've now managed to put to the side and lose, and that's why you should always put them away as soon as you've used them. Oh no, I didn't, I left it inside the Big Shot, didn't I, because I need to get all the bits of paper out of it. See, I forgot that even that quickly. And I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back of here. And because I'm going to be popping these in the post, I'm going to pop a dimensional in the middle as well, so that it doesn't dip in the middle, is what I'm trying to say. And probably before I put the dimensionals on, it might have been a good idea to put on my gilded gems. So these are part of the Ornate Garden suite as well, and I just lined them up along the bottom centrally. So one there, one there, and one there. They're not very straight either. It's obviously a squint day, but it'll do for now. I'll straighten them up later because I'll be able to peel them off again and just straighten them up a bit. And then I just added this to about here and just made sure that it was equal at both sides. Now it doesn't stick down right at the ends because there's another little bit there. Probably lots of you been saying there's another bit there and you had seen it and I hadn't. I think that's them all this time. I want it not to be bending round the bag. I wanted it to stay straight because the bag does bow a little bit, but I'm okay with that. But the middle of the die cut does actually sit flush against it, but this is raised a little bit and I'm okay with that. And that's my bag. So this one did have a Kit Kat in it until I stole it, and I'm going to send those out to my customers. So I hope you enjoyed that. Give it a thumbs up if you did. If you're not already a subscriber, I would love you to subscribe and press on the little bell icon to be notified of any other videos that I post. And if you've not already shared, then that would be really good. If you thought that someone else might enjoy seeing these too and enjoy crafting along, then by all means share and invite friends to watch as well. All the details will be in the description bar underneath, and a link to my blog, which I'm really hoping to update in the next few days. I've not updated it with quite a few projects, but I'm hoping to do that. So I hope to see you again soon. Until then, take care and bye bye for now. Just to add, because I don't think I told you in the main part of the video, that the thank you or the thanks was stamped using the Ornate Thanks stamp set. It's a photopolymer stamp set which is also part of the Ornate Garden suite. So apologies for not adding that into the video. I don't think I mentioned it. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.